Mama's in the living room watching Judge Judy. I'm in the kitchen eating leftover sushi, and she yells, "Oh, girl, you gotta hear this one." A man was arrested for running the theme park, and when they said, "Where's your license?" he said, "My dog ate it." Oh, you can't make this shit up. Sometimes I wonder if life's just one big cosmic joke. It's like she's on a Reddit, reading r/funny lawsuits, yelling from the couch. As she sips on a Prosecco, makes fun of all the weirdos, and then I hear her shout. It's like she's on a Reddit, reading r/funny lawsuits, yelling from the couch. As she sips on her Prosecco, makes fun of all the weirdos, and then I hear her shout, "Girl, you gotta hear this one." Mama loves to laugh at how absurd life is, says it's all a comedy and I'm her audience. And I love the way she makes fun of the world. She said, "You'll never guess what's with their girlfriend. It was a man who didn't get us out of the bed. He said, I've been through hell and now I need some help. You just can't make this shit up. You just can't make this shit up." Sometimes I wonder if life's just one big cosmic joke. It's like she's on a Reddit, reading r/funny lawsuits, yelling from the couch. As she sips on a Prosecco, makes fun of all the weirdos, and then I hear her shout. It's like she's on a Reddit, reading r/funny lawsuits, yelling from the couch. As she sips on a Prosecco, makes fun of all the weirdos, and then I hear her shout, "Girl, you gotta hear this one."
All caps means you're either panicking or trying to represent yourself in court. Both are mistakes. Your feelings are adorable, but they're not admissible, persuasive, or even interesting without evidence. Yes, Heather hates immunity doctrines. It's a personality trait at this point. You don't need to remind her, she wakes up angry about it. Bring receipts. "No, I heard it from so and so." This is quid pro quo, not next door. Screenshots are statutes only. Don't fight each other. Fight the law. It deserves it more. If you're offended, excellent. That means you're awake, paying attention, and probably new here. No diagnosing the host. She's petty, not pathological. And don't diagnose anyone else. Stay in your lane, please and thank you. Do not summon the mods. They're tired, hangry, and may bite when provoked. Disagree loudly if you must. The algorithm eats drama for breakfast. Just keep it cute while you argue wrongfully. If you're taking screenshots of my chat, touch grass, tell your handlers. I said hi, and find a hobby that isn't me.
Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. I am Squid, your friendly neighborhood petty bitch. And Kasha, do me a favor, tell your husband to stop sending me black lab puppy videos on Facebook and telling me that the little needs a puppy. I say that with love. And not that I know of, she's not playing the F around and find out game. She already did that and she's still finding out because guess what? I'm petty, and you're just gonna find out how petty I am because I will still be doing streams about your court cases in 2027, at least one a week, because I'm petty, because you fucked around with the wrong bitch. If you're going to try to intimidate somebody, one, make sure that you have the law on your side, which you don't. Publicly available document is not a felony. Two, make sure that the person that you're trying to intimidate isn't a bigger bitch than you. And three, make sure that the person you're trying to intimidate isn't a pettier bitch than you. Because Every which way, you lose. She is not that I know of still playing the fuck around and find out, but she fucked around and she's gonna be finding out until I run out of documents to read. Because that's the kind of petty bitch that I am. Because I got time. We were gonna talk Tyler Robinson today. However, I was feeling kinda petty. Um, and you know what happens when I'm in a petty mood. We talk about bitchy people. We talk about people that think they are above the law because no one is above the law. And guess what? Reading publicly available documents, not against the law. And here's the thing. I was talking to somebody this morning when I was at the gym, and I made a comment because they were asking me about lips because they have no idea. These are my 3D world friends. They have no idea about this crazy cunt or anything like that. Here's the thing. It's been told to me, and I don't have like a video of her saying this, so I don't know 100% for sure, but enough separate people have told me that she sues people to, quote unquote, "get things on record." Well, here's the thing, bitch. When you put your dirty laundry on the record, your dirty laundry becomes public record. Ergo, I'm going to read all your dirty laundry. So don't put all your dirty laundry in the public record. FYI, the downside to suing people is your dirty laundry becomes public record. Just a thought. Just a thought. People fail to realize that when you put your dirty laundry on record with the court system, your dirty laundry becomes public record. And when you live in Florida and public records are very easy to access, especially in Orange County, and or if you have a Pacer account and you sue the Florida Supreme Court, which just so happens to be in federal court. Oh, don't fuck with somebody who has a Pacer account. There's number 4. Just saying. Just saying. A puppy is easier to potty train. Well, that being said, somebody got some M&Ms this morning because someone went not once, not twice, but 3 times like a big girl. So, yep, and I added the 4th. It's really not that hard to follow those rules. Just don't be an asshole. I don't go out of my way to be an asshole to people. I mentioned her court cases when she first got into this case, and then I kind of let them go because she dropped the case against Jeremy. I was updating the case again that Jeremy had, and Megan and Tug and everybody were suing her. But there just hadn't been many updates on that. So I hadn't really talked about it. But when you personally go after me and you're not ballsy enough to actually name me by name, because, that would be the very fucking definition of uh, defamation in Florida. By the way, if we need any definition of defamation in Florida, here we go.
A statement is defamatory if it tends to harm plaintiff's reputation, tends to lower him in the estimation of the community, tends to expose him to hatred, ridicule, or contempt, tends to injure him in his business, reputation, or occupation, tends to deter third persons from associating or dealing with him, or charges that plaintiff committed a crime. Not every unpleasant or uncomplimentary statement is defamatory. A statement is not defamatory merely because it is mean, embarrassing, or upsetting.
That is the definition of defamation in Florida by a Florida judge. Guess what? So accusing someone of a crime, the very definition of defamation. That judge was reading the definition of defamation to the jury in a trial. Speaking of that, a couple of housekeeping things. We are going to cover the Tyler Robinson documents and the hearing that was yesterday, probably Monday. Also, for those of you who are following me with the Derek Rosa case, he has taken a plea deal. I believe I was sent the hearing for his plea deal. I'll have to look into that, but we'll also be talking about that. Then JKD Buck, thank you so very much. My second channel about health issues, balance, flexibility. We'll be doing more on our deep dive into how to recover from burnout tomorrow night at 7 p.m. right before Jeremy Hales. It's a 45-minute to an hour. We get straight to the point. We discuss burnout. We discuss what we're going to do about it, and then we get you on your way. And also, there is a community post for this month that says any case that I'm talking about, you put your predictions for the case, and at the end of the month, we're gonna do a members only stream discussing what you guys think about certain cases and whether those comments have aged well or not. All right, so getting into okay, no more lap puppies. No, because it's making me want a puppy, and right now I'm trying to potty train a person. I can't potty train a person and a puppy at the same time. I don't have that much patience. Like, I you know? Anyway, anyway. So, we are going to look at tonight her second amended complaint against the Florida bar back in 2023. So, looking at the docket, y'all just have to join me on this little a little insight into Lips's brain, or what's left of it. She sued originally. Her original complaint was 2/2 of 2023. She filed an amended complaint 2/6 of 2023. She filed a motion to amend on 2/9, and then on 2/10 filed her second amended complaint. In 8 days, this woman filed 3 complaints. The original complaint was 26 pages. I was debating whether I was gonna, like, read it because I'm like, usually amended complaints only, like, one thing changed or, there's not a lot that changes in an amended complaint. Usually it's, case law or from what I've noticed, or you're adding a defendant or whatever. No defendants were added, but this case went from 26 pages to 38. 12 pages where she gets a little too personal with some things. So, because you put your shit in the public record, your shit is about to become more public than you ever wanted it to. But guess what? This is what happens when you put your drama in a public record and you piss people off. Because you pissed me off. And when you piss me off, and I know what pisses you off, reading legal documents, guess what? I'm gonna keep reading legal documents because I know it gets under your fucking skin. And anything that I know that gets under somebody's skin, I'm gonna keep doing. I took that lesson from my fiance. He's an expert at being an asshole, and if he knows what gets under your skin, he will definitely, definitely, definitely keep doing it just to annoy you. And guess what? I've known him for almost 20 years, and I picked up on that little tidbit of information. So when people try to piss me off, it's like, dude, I know exactly what gets under your skin, and then I just keep doing it. And Sir Frank, thanks for being a member for 13 months. Been too busy with work to keep up with everything. Yeah, it's hard. Like, uh, it's hard. But good to see you. I'm lurking Bills, Broncos, and 49ers, Seahawks. Yeah, my Packers are out, so, it is whatever. And hey, everybody. Ah, all right. Kasha, thanks for the $5 for the M&M fund. Thank you. Uh, all right, let's get into this because I do have it up, and we y'all, if you can't, oh my goodness, sometimes you just look at stuff. I didn't get the first amended complaint because I like you guys too much, and we're not going to torture ourselves with making ourselves as miserable as what she seems to be. Because only miserable people try to make other people as miserable as them. And like I said, do I agree with everything going on in this case on both sides? Hell no. Would some of the things that are done, some of the things that I would do? No. However, at the same time, like, I don't interject myself into shit. She brought this fight to me by accusing me of a crime. that defamation shit. Just but not being ballsy enough to, name me specifically by name, just talking about my entire stream without actually naming me by name. I understand that, Mime Union has has filed suit to stop her from appearing in public because of the harm she's causing to the crowd. And Bug Naked, thanks good to see you, and thanks for the $5 super chat. And also, like, I am not one to be grifty. I'm really bad at it. Like, I used to joke with, Vices that I was the world's worst grifter, and I was taking grifting lessons from him. But when you accuse me of grifting, and I know that talking about your public documents gets views, once again, I'm just you know you know, you causing trouble again reading court docs, always. Did you not see my name? Oh, did you not see it? Public records felon, come on. You know and hey, Jen, how are you? Ah. Oh, yes, and guys, by the way, if you do wanna support the channel, but you do not wanna send your money to YouTube, because I understand that there are certain people in this world that are like, "I hate YouTube, and I do not wanna give YouTube any more money than the ad revenue that I'm already, like, contributing." I did start a Ko-Fi account, and you can thank or Ko-fi. Um, you can talk to, how dare you try and get views. Well, yeah, and that's the thing, like, there's people in the chat or, like, not in the chat, in the comments section who will be like, "You just started a channel to get attention." No, I started a channel because it was a I started my first channel, this one, because it was a frickin' April Fool's joke, and I just wanted to see if I could, and there's a bunch of stuff that I am interested in, and people on the internet are interested in, that my significant other has no interest in talking to me about. We talk about a lot of things, um Sorry about that. Internet is being funky the last, like, hour. I think the cold is affecting things because we're not used to this weather we're getting down here because it's cold as balls. So, it's supposed to snow. Yep, it's just me. Baby Squid tripped over the cord again. No, she's passed out. Yep, bingo Bertie. It's not just you guys. My internet for, like, the last 45 minutes has just, you know Yep, right there. Right there. I'm looking over my computer. The router's right there. It says it's fine, but, like, I think the cold is affecting stuff because it got down to 18 degrees here the other night. It's supposed to snow tomorrow. Sorry, snow in South Georgia is not something we get very often, so I think the world is, like, the lions are freaking out. Um, yeah. And Ninja Puppy, thanks for the $1.99 super chat. M&M fund. What I was saying is, I do have a Ko-Fi account or Ko-fi account, and you can, um thanks to actually Stacy for this, um, I saw it on her channel because yes, I did go over there, you know, because I check out everybody. I was told to told that, and it's once again, people cannot like her, and that is okay. But just because one person doesn't like her and doesn't trust her doesn't mean that everybody is like that. And sometimes you just got to give people the benefit of the doubt because they might surprise you. Um, it's yeah, he was supposed to come down here for a visit, not he wasn't supposed to bring his weather with him, but apparently he did. Yes, and this site is a great way to give. If you don't like giving your money to YouTube, because I know some people are like, I support you, but screw Google. That Kofi takes 5%, not 30. And Squaw Bob, thanks for the 1 gifted Squid Pro Quo membership. I appreciate you so much. Oh, no. No, no, no. You please keep that by you. I love you dearly, but please keep that by you. Blah. Oh, no, 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 no. Drop that link again. There's my Kofi. So, all right. So this is 38 pages. This was filed 8 days after her original complaint. And like I said before, my internet went crazy, is I did not download the second complaint or the first amended complaint because of the fact that, one, this is on Pacer and I have to pay for all these documents, so I'm balling on a budget. And secondly, I didn't want to torture y'all with that. But we are going to kind of get into what's different. So if you didn't see the last case or the last stream about this, it was Thursday. She goes into all these different situations, but there are some things that are different. Because, she added 12 pages. So we're going to get into parts that are different. So she mentions this, her former paralegal, she's accusing of crimes. I still need to look up the case number and the police report that she has on that. Yeah, it's like, y'all northerners, your weather is drunk, Mother Nature is drunk, and she's hanging out in my yard. Somebody please come get her. It was like, I set the stream up at like 4:00 and set it for 4:15. So, easy. That's pushing it. That's pushing it. All right. So during the entire year of 2021, and some of these changes, some of these things we might have read before. I'm not going word for word comparing the old complaint to the new complaint because we're challenging our brain cells enough. We're challenging our brain cells enough. We don't need to torture anybody by actually going back and forth between the two docs. So I'm going to read what I believe is the added stuff. During the entire year of 2021, the Florida Bar and staff investigator, David Pinnell, allowed themselves throughout the investigation to be hashtagged on social media. Mary E. DiGiorio, who's a licensed nurse who makes false and discriminatory statements about the plaintiff's mental health. Okay, I'm not going to make definitive statements here because I don't know. But compare the sentence structure in some of these paragraphs to things we've seen in other people's documents in the federal cases, specifically Federal 2, where it's like the sentence structure just doesn't make any sense and you have to read it twice. That one I got. That one's easy. That one's on Orange County. That one's on Orange County's website. Tiffany Moore Russell, the clerk in Orange County. I don't know who she had set up her website, but it is the easiest to navigate clerk website and document retrieval system in the entire country. And so once again, don't mess with someone who's pettier than you when you live in the easiest county to get documents in the entire country. Just saying. Just saying. Well, here's the thing. And this is from 2023, so this is not recent. However, when you put your dirty laundry into a lawsuit and think that filing that lawsuit is a good idea, your dirty laundry becomes public record. And this is one of those things where sometimes even if you have a great case, you have to ask yourself, do I really want to go through all the BS? Because all of this BS, and I'm going to have to put a lot of things on public record that maybe I don't want on public record. And it's just you know? And uh his thing is next week, right? The 23rd? Makes false and discriminatory statements about the plaintiff's mental health, stating plaintiff is a criminal. Pot meet kettle, because you literally called a bunch of YouTubers that for reading documents about you, publicly available ones. Pot meet kettle. Plaintiff has a personality disorder. Plaintiff is a narcissist. Girl, I say this about every person, not limited. If you've ever seen me read a document, I get super grammar Yahtzee. Put your freaking, this is how you can tell someone is either writing stuff fast or doesn't think, or is maybe in a manic episode, possibly. Because they just don't proofread and their sentence structure just doesn't make sense. Because plaintiff is a criminal, comma. And this is where, like, I'm not a lawyer, but I'm a layperson reading this and having a background in psychology. You can tell when someone's writing shit and they're angry, and they're getting angrier as they write it because it starts off using proper punctuation, proper grammar, and like shit fades the farther and farther you get down into it, and it's more rambling. The word choice she uses gets a little more aggressive. It's a situation of you don't have to be a lawyer to read documents. That's not practicing law without a license. You're a fucking attorney. You went to fucking law school. You might have basic common sense on what's actually practicing law without a license. Reading publicly available documents and giving my opinion, especially giving my opinion about how they're written, not the contents. You know? Mm. Hey, Calvin. Why do I have you worried? You don't have me worried. What? Who's worried? Oh my goodness. It's one of those situations of like, there's no, on page 1, there was actual like punctuation. Down here, we're getting to basic, like 5th grade English. And she can't do it. Or she's choosing not to because she's so agitated when she's writing this. Yeah, the people who try to silence others have the most to hide. That is generally the way it's working. She acted as her own lawyer. At this time, she still had a bar license. Plaintiff is a narcissist. And to call someone a narcissist, that's not defamatory. You can be a narcissist and have narcissistic traits without having narcissistic personality disorder. So you have to be careful with that. Like in the petty rules, we don't diagnose. However, you can having narcissistic traits and acting like a narcissist is not the same. And this is what she's conflating with this statement, plaintiff is a narcissist. You don't have to have narcissistic personality disorder to be a narcissist. Yeah, but like my mother-in-law is a straight up narcissist. There's definitions, more like a 5th glass of wine. Oh, you know, I've never tried to write a document on 5 glasses of wine. Maybe a text, but never a document, so I wouldn't know. Among other statements causing harm to the plaintiff. Despite being requested to take their name off these statements, they took no measures to assist plaintiff. And she did devil's advocate because we always give the devil their due. She did show a rule where they were not supposed to allow this, and they did. According to her, they did. So, yeah, but mine literally told my sister-in-law that when she was supposed to be apologizing for something, she said, "I'm sorry, that's not your fault. That's just the way God made you." That's my mother-in-law. Plaintiff is an idiot. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Shush. Shush your mouth. I hope I hope I don't get in trouble with my parole officer for consorting with a potential felon. Oh, y'all crack me up. Hmm. Lips said she is having Chips officially represent her so she can recover attorney's fees. She's so did somebody spike the Delulu lemonade? Let's be honest here. Like, y'all, y'all. And thank you for the person who sent me the $20 on Ko-fi. Y'all are awesome. Like, I y'all are awesome. I just can't explain how grateful I am for you. And like, as much as this doesn't seem like a job, like a job, typical job, this is still my job and how I put food on the table. And I was talking to someone earlier today, and they asked me if I was going to go live, and I was literally like, I'm kind of not feeling like the serious stuff today, the court stuff, you know the um unalivers or the alleged unalivers and their hearings. However, um, sometimes you got to do stuff when you don't want to, um, because of the fact that it is your job and this is how you put food on the table. So, like, even hitting that like button and either letting an ad play a little bit longer to give me just that little, like, extra 10 cents, 20 cents of ad revenue, you have no idea how grateful I am to you because that, like, $10 of extra revenue, of ad revenue, like, just makes the it helps the mindset, especially with the bills that I have to pay from Christmas because your girl went a little overspending, not only on the little in the family, but, like, um, uh, I bought Linktree, Pro, I paid for because it was on sale for Black Friday, um, storybooks for B-roll for my videos. That was a couple $100. So, like, all these things that added up because they were all on sale, which saves me money in the long run, but, like, looking at my credit card bill right now, I kinda wanna cringe. So, you have no idea how much just hitting the like button and sharing the stream. We are almost at 4,300 subscribers. We're at, like, 4,289. We are almost at 43. So, like, like and, I mean, you put a lot of effort for our information and enjoyment, never apologize for people thinking you it's work. And yeah, it is. I mean, it's kinda one of those things of, like, they say if you enjoy your job, you'll never work a day in your life, and that's kind of the YouTube thing. Like, sometimes it gets to be a lot, but but at the same time, it's like it's something that I enjoy doing. Editing videos, not so much. I'm still working on my editing skills. I did buy a CapCut for the year. That's another thing. I bought it for the year. So, like, now you paid for it, you have to use it. But I'm also a really bad grifter. So I get super cringy. I get super cringy. I'm like, yeah, did get your faithful mod the gift. That is true. I'm an awful. They help me out for free. Uh, I would never turn in Squid unless there was at least $50 reward. Oh my goodness. And April, getting back to this. Hey, Dusk, lurking today. Good to see you. Yes, everyone has right here. Everyone has narcissistic traits. It's just how many of the traits you have and how strong they are. Because there's some people who play the victim. Everybody kind of does it in a sense, but it's like there's a there's a spectrum, Do you do it all the time, or is it like a once in a while? Every trait is on a how severe do you show it? You know? If I show you free editor easy for the Mac, you can cancel your subscription. It's one of those things of like part of the reason I paid for it was the fact that I have to use it. It's like paying for a gym membership. If you pay for the year, like you have to go because you paid for it. That's the kind of mentality I'm in right now. Yeah, Squid does not know how to grip anything. I know, I'm the world's worst. I'm so bad. When it snows down there, take pictures. After all, we're not going to see snow anymore in 20 years. Didn't they say that in like, after 20, well, never mind. That's a whole rabbit hole we could go down. Oh, April 22nd, 2021. Plaintiff receives a phone call from a client. And I'm not naming the client's name because, yes, it's in public record, but this is about Lips and her bad behavior and her drama, not her clients that didn't do anything wrong other than wanting a lawyer that's yeah. Oh my goodness. All right. Who informed plaintiff that former paralegal Chartine Vieira. See, in the original filing, she did not name the paralegal. She kept saying my paralegal, paralegal, paralegal. She never named the paralegal. She changed it and she got a little more petty, shall you say. Which is going to get 1 inch of snow and watch it stick. She's going into shock because she was trying to get away from it. It did snow last year. Last January it snowed like 2 or 3 inches. Called him in an effort to persuade him to file a bar complaint against the plaintiff. During the conversation, she informed him she was directly working with Mary DiGiorio and Hubert Kyle Fletcher Esquire. So, what's interesting about this is Kyle Fletcher is a lawyer that was representing the plaintiff in a case where Leslie got sued in Pinellas County for and I'm not going to show, she got sued by a woman named Jennifer Miles, and her attorney of record was H. Kyle Fletcher for malpractice. And that was, we're going to go through that one after we get through this whole thing. That's going to be our next one because there's a whole bunch of documents started there. And this was filed 1/11/2023. So a month before this case was filed, she was sued in Pinellas County for malpractice by H. Kyle Fletcher. Interesting? Slightly. Hello. It's kind of one of those like coincidence. She gets sued, and then all of a sudden she names him in her complaint. Was he really trying to ruin her, or was he just representing the plaintiff in the case where you were sued and you were pissed? I mean, I can't get into her mindset, and I really don't want to, but it's just something to think about where it's kind of interesting that you get sued by him a month prior and he's in your complaint. I'm very certain I'm the most important narcissist in the you know. She was working directly with Mary and Kyle Fletcher Esquire ruin the play. See, this is where agitation, in my opinion, is getting in the way because she's writing faster than her brain can function in the sense of read this out. working with Mary and Hubert Kyle Fletcher, Esquire, ruined the plaintiff. You mean like to ruin the plaintiff? And y'all know me if you have ever run into me on Facebook or in the comment section when people try to insult me and I'm like someone on my other channel commented loose weight on one of my seated exercise video or exercise my movement Mondays or my movement minute videos. And I was like, loose. If you're gonna try to insult me, at least use proper grammar. It's lose, L-O-S-E, not L-O-O-S-E, like loose change. The American education system needs work because if you don't know the difference between lose and loose, you're not smart enough to insult me. And once again, I know that correcting people's grammar gets under their skin and annoys them, which is part of the reason I do it. But bless their precious little hearts. I saw that. I'm not reading that, but I saw that. In the fall of 2022, the plaintiff files a police report against Chartine Vieira, Mary Stephen Fuladuso, and Hubert Kyle Fletcher, which was sent to the 9th Judicial Circuit District Attorneys and remains pending against them for extortion, conspiracy, harassment, cyberbullying, threat to unalive, unlawful stealing of business property, case number this. So that's what we have to look up. It's a rabbit hole. It's a rabbit hole in itself. From the onset of the bar complaints in 2020 until present, all plaintiffs' bar complaints get sent to local Orange County, Florida committee, who have continued to allow their local investigation to harm plaintiff's clients, her family, and herself. The harm has resulted in plaintiff having to withdraw from cases to protect her clients. Judges recuse themselves off cases for being tainted by the former paralegal's bar complaints they were given. Clients being prejudiced by inaccurate, privileged information given to judges and opposing counsel in their cases. The plaintiff had to close down her law firm. This is one run-on frickin' sentence. This is all one sentence. The plaintiff had to close down her law firm. This should be a period. This is a complete subject and predicate in itself. I'm like, oh, yeah. Oh. I was referring to your tiny wrinkle as a dent, not the actual dent. I have a no-see-um bite. So here we go. The grift. When my credit card bill is paid off, because usually I don't spend enough where I can pay it off at the end of the month. Like when I get the bill, I can pay it off before there's any interest. This month I cannot do that. But when that is paid off and I can start putting money into savings, I'm going to save up for a Botox to get rid of the WTF line, aka the resting bitch face line. And I was thinking maybe if I got rid of the RBF line, that people wouldn't think I'm pissed off all the time. So when I'm talking and I'm passionate, people wouldn't think I'm angry. Just to, It's her secret weapon. She makes the opposition think she's dumb. The problem with her using that tactic is she's not aware she's dumb. I mean, it's okay to not know things. Like, it's okay to not know things. The ignorance is bliss sometimes. But, like, it's okay because no one's going to know everything. That's why, like, even doctors, that they don't know a lot to start with. But that's why there's, like, epidemiologists, and there's cardiologists, and there's nephrologists, and there's all of these things. Endocrinologist, because everybody's got an expertise. Not everybody's good at everything. You're not going to be an expert in everything. However, it is completely different to not be an expert or know anything about something, but act like you do. That's where it's like, y'all. Yeah. Ew. Ew. Hey. I am doing okay. And ultimately resulting in exacerbating the plaintiff's medical condition protected under the Americans with Disabilities Act. And y'all, this is what I still have to look up because I haven't read the ADA since like 2018. Um, however, however, I don't know if bipolar disorder is covered under ADA. I'm just introduction to the ADA. I'm on ada.gov. So if you ever want to know anything about the ADA, oh no, 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 no. Oh no. I've been waiting on news all day and my other half in the hospital waiting for emergency surgery, damn appendicitis. Oh no, I hope they're okay. I hope they're okay. Appendicitis sounds like it sucked. Squid sponsored by 1 gig internet. The internet that I want in this town, we don't have. So I'm stuck with Vive. The internet I want in this town doesn't come to my neighborhood. I would love, but it's going to go to my dad's neighborhood. So when my dad builds his house and actually moves down here, I might have to set up my office in his office and go over there and stream. Uh, Gym owners love to have people sign up for New Year's resolutions. The contracts are usually set for a year up front, and you can't get a refund if you don't come in. No. Ugh. Yeah, mine is monthly. See, and I love my it. Yes, bipolar is covered under the ADA as a mental health condition and qualifies as a disability. But how much and what documentation? Because for some reason, the idea of just giving someone your therapist's number and saying I'm ADA protected, call my therapist, having to go through paperwork for FMLA, before and after my surgery, um, it, there's a lot of paperwork to get shit accommodated. Even going back and needing to work like half days for the first 2 weeks, um, significantly a significant amount of paperwork to work half days in a hospital. I worked in a hospital when I came back from my surgery, and even working in a hospital and saying I need to work half days according to my neurosurgeon was like pulling frickin' teeth. So to just say, here's my call my doctor. She has not provided any documentation that she has shown in her complaint. That's what I have a problem with. Laura Oden's case used that and they denied that argument of ADA. I can definitely see having accommodations for it. And it is mental health is healthcare. However, it's just one of those situations. It's just one of those situations of there has to be documentation and paperwork as far as this is what I've been diagnosed with. Here is you don't have to give them your full medical record, but here is not an affidavit, but here is paperwork. Here is a release form that I have signed to give you access to my paperwork if you need it to prove that I am not lying to you. And that's the problem that I have with this is because in everything she's ever said, it's always, here's the number to my therapist, call my therapist. And then she complained that the spokesperson or the person from the Florida bar called a third party. I'm thinking about it logically from someone who's like had to get accommodations. She never said that I gave them paperwork and a release form that allowed them to access. Because you just call up someone's therapist and they're going to be like, no, HIPAA. But signing a HIPAA release form that says, hey, this person's going to have access to this due to my, need for documentation. That's the problem that she has not, and that's not to say it doesn't exist and she's not gonna show it later. However, that's something that in her first complaint, she never even alluded to. She just said, I gave them the opportunity to call my therapist." Did you give them the proper paperwork so your therapist could actually talk to them too? Or send them files, send them notes so that your case can be proven. Otherwise, anybody could just go around and say anything. "Oh, I have this." You kind of need to prove some of this stuff. Like, ugh, it's, you know, I just have sent PDF and DM bipolar. What did he do? Let's see. Oh, and thank you, Heidel, for posting my thing in the Discord because I didn't do it because I totally forgot. What did he do? Let's see. Did you send it in a DM or did you put it in the actual the Discord server? Because I can't find it. Anyway. And that's the other thing. So it's just, like, oh, there we go. There we go. Let's see. Employees with bipolar from the U.S. Department of Labor's Office of Disability Employment Policy. Nice, 11 pages. That'll be a good read. And with this, this is what Heidel just sent me. Information about bipolar as far as workplace accommodations and compliance. However, does that still does that cover not missing court dates? Because there's one thing about getting accommodations and reasonable accommodations for everybody. Being an OTA, being an OT practitioner, having that mentality, I am all for accommodations in the workplace. But I'm also under the mindset that certain people are not made for certain jobs. I am not good at a construction worker because you need a lot of strength to be a construction worker, and I don't have that. Like, just because you can get reasonable accommodations for a job doesn't mean that that job is necessarily made for you. Like, speaking of which, like, going out in public speaking every day, like being a politician, not for me. One, because I would like to think I have my integrity, but secondly, I can't go out and shake that many hands. I have social anxiety. So I know that it's just not the job for me. There's reasonable accommodations, and then there's a job just not fitting you based on an issue you might be having. Someone who has a broken leg cannot physically run a marathon. That is nothing against the person with a broken leg, but a long distance runner is not the occupation for you. It, sometimes things are just not appropriate, and it has nothing to do with the person's mental health. It's just if you can't show up on time, there's only so many accommodations that can be made for you. But if your whole job is to show up somewhere on time and you have not figured out how to manage your condition in order to show up on time, like say someone in a wheelchair, they know that it takes them extra time to drive somewhere because they have to load and unload their wheelchair. They're going to leave 20 minutes early so that they can accommodate for the fact that it takes them extra time to get in and out of a vehicle. That is the building having the accommodations, a ramp for them to get in, their vehicle having the accommodations, a lift for them to get in and out. However, it's also them having an insight and and forethought and planning and taking accountability for the fact that and not blaming everybody else for the fact that, oh, you didn't hold this meeting an extra 20 minutes because I was late. I knew that it takes me longer, so I'm going to leave earlier. There's the common sense and the not blaming other people for your issues. It's a Yeah, if the workplace and ADA doesn't cover if the occupation isn't fitting or inappropriate for you. And when your job as a lawyer is to show up to court on time and you can't show up to court on time and you're blaming everybody but your inability to show up on time. It's one of those situations where like we shouldn't stigmatize mental health. However, you also should not use your mental health as a weapon for why you should get special treatment or people should go out of their way to help you. We're not using our mental health as a weapon. So there's that. It's just you don't use your mental health as a weapon. I'm all for mental health care in this country, but I'm also not for using your mental health as a weapon to get you out of accountability for just being bad at your job. All right. Her exacerbated condition left her debilitated, which resulted in her missing 2 hearings, missing an appeal, and having to take a 90 days medical leave from the practice of law. For the actions of the plaintiff missing the hearings and appeal, the judiciary filed bar complaints against the plaintiff. You know what? And that's appropriate. I'm not a lawyer, but that seems pretty damn appropriate that if you fail to do your job on more than one occasion, people have the right to complain. And if you're a lawyer, a bar complaint is the one way people complain. One of the judges was a judge who received the former paralegal's bar complaint previously. Hey, yeah, I pop in. Like I said, if something shows up, I don't get notifications for his channel. I don't know why. No matter how many times I would subscribe, unsubscribe, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. I don't get notifications for his channel or stars. Uh, I don't. I don't know why. It's basically like if I don't if I'm not a mod on people's channels, I don't get notifications for their channels. And that's not saying everybody should make me a mod. That's not what I'm saying. It's just I don't get notifications for certain people's channels no matter how hard I freaking try. So I opened up my YouTube and I saw Star's stream and I'm like, "Hey, you know? Oh, we are fighting with my husband's podiatrist. He had no handicap spots and he fell due to unlevel pavement and no one would help him. He had to oh, that's so awful. Oh my god. Ugh. Ugh. YouTube is weird. It's been doing a thing lately where, like, I'll go into a stream and this is not just one person, like, this is everybody, and it takes a good 45 seconds to a minute before chat will, like, open up. It's like YouTube doesn't recognize that I actually subscribe, and it'll take a second before it's like, "Oh, yeah, she's a subscriber, we can unlock her chat." So so this is stuff that was in the other one, the bad faith bar complaints. Um, she had she had this is not something that was in the old complaint. Pending the investigation status of the following complaints, but related to the formal complaint, This one initially filed December 2020 by Kyle Fletcher, opposing counsel in guardianship case. Also, by the time he wrote this, opposing counsel in a malpractice case that she fails to disclose. She was issued a summons. She filed a motion to dismiss in the other case that Kyle Fletcher is the opposing counsel that is suing her. She filed a motion to dismiss 219, which means that she had gotten the summons. The summons was issued 113. So I don't know, it doesn't say exactly when she received it. However, she filed a motion 219. This was filed 210. I'm sure she knew about that case before. So she failed to disclose that he was opposing counsel where she's being sued. Hey. Ugh. YouTube has an undiagnosed personality disorder. Initially filed March 21, initially filed March 22 by Mary DeJorio, a former client. That one initially filed March 21 by her former paralegal. Initially filed November 2021. She acts like all these were filed like at the same time. They were not. By former employee/client. November 2021 by former client. All these complaints were filed around the same time. No, there were 3 different times. They were all filed within a year of each other. December 2020, March 2021, 2 in March 2021, 2 in November of 2021, and 1 in March of 22. She's acting like all these were filed within a month of each other. It's like, I'm sorry that you suck as a lawyer so bad that people decided to file bar complaints against you. Plaintiff received a bar complaint from opposing counsel Michael Lundy in that case for purpose of advantaging himself in litigation. It's not what she says, and this is where lawyers fucking frustrate the hell out of me because it's their job. I get it, but it's not what they say, it's what they don't say. Advantaging themselves in litigation. You never say what the bar complaint is. You never give the bar complaint number. You never give any information. You just say of the purpose of advancing himself in litigation. I'm almost positive that this is why they're trying to have her be. Oh, I totally understood that. That's why one of the other things, like people in her chat were like saying she's gonna sue me and it's all that. It's like you're already being labeled a vexatious litigant. Like the possibility of suing me. It's like there's just one more thing to add to the vexatious litigant crap. And that'll just give Jeremy more ammunition. I'm just putting it out there. And somebody did mention earlier, I can't remember who did it. I thought it was I can't remember who said it, but somebody mentioned the fact that she puts it on record. She sues to get stuff on record. Yeah, in the first 5 minutes of the stream, I kind of went through my not my petty rules, but like kind of rules for why it's not good to fuck with me. And one of those petty rules is when you sue people to put shit on record, your dirty laundry gets put in a public record. So when you piss people off, by, I don't know, calling them a felon, which is defamation. Just saying. Um, we're gonna go through the um we're gonna go through the I'm petty list and the rules list of what not to do. Just in general. This is not a lot to do with me. Has to do with me in this situation, but it just in general. Rules for life. 1, don't sue people to get things on record because your dirty laundry becomes public record. 2, don't accuse people of a crime because that is the definition of defamation, according to a Florida judge that we showed the video of here. 3, if you're going to intimidate somebody, have the law on your side. In this case, she has no law and no facts on her side because these are public records. And 4, if you're going to try to intimidate someone, make sure you are here. Make sure they are not the bigger bitch and far more pettier than you. Far more petty. English proper. I am very fucking petty because I am ornery. I am old. I do not give a shit anymore. But the thing is I'm reading public documents and giving my opinion on the public documents. I'm not making judgments. I'm reading the judgments, reading the cases, and giving you my opinion. That is not practicing law without a license. You would think someone who went to law school would kind of know the law. Her behavior on the internet is basic grounds for dismissal. Yeah. Well, I wouldn't go that far, but like if you're going to try to intimidate someone, make sure the law is on your side. And also make sure that they're not a bigger bitch than you are. And I'm sorry, the Navy taught me to out-bitch people. Because if you didn't out-bitch people, you didn't get shit done. And I was in the Navy before it went woke and before like people started getting like, oh my God, they're hazing me. Like shit, I was back in the Navy back when shit was real. And back when, you know, you had to work twice as hard and to hold your own. And if you didn't act like a bitch, people would take advantage of you. So I got salty real fast. And then you put me after college in a hospital working with people who hate my guts and don't want to work with me. It's, you know, just one of those things of like, that's why I am the way I am between the military and working in a hospital, especially during COVID. You know, shit got real fast. And if you didn't keep up, but Chief Justice Fleesa of Esquire of the Supreme Flea Court has ruled that Lips is correct in all things. Hey Bree, how are you? Oh, and to anybody new here, please hit that like button after and share this stream out. After Lips called me a felon for reading public documents, we have decided to read every single document that she has ever put her fucking name on as a pro se defendant or a plaintiff. Because I am that petty. So, if you're interested in embarrassing the shit out of someone who has no shame, this is the stream for you. And like, we probably won't be doing this every day, but we will be doing this until 2027 at the bare minimum because there is that many cases. Oh, like I said, Devil Fan, I don't go out of my way to be an asshole to anybody. However, if you bring that drama to my doorstep, I will tell you what I think. And if I know that reading publicly available documents gets under your skin, we're going to read it every week. So we will have content going through every available lawsuit until 2027 at the bare minimum. This right now is the Lips versus the World series. We have a new playlist called Loose Lips Sink Ships. And when you put your dirty laundry out on the internet for the world to see, somebody's gonna fucking read it. Hi, that's me. I'm her. Disc, disc, disc. Oh, I'm sorry, y'all. You know, yes, right here. She'll get what she asks for. Like, I had done 2 streams for those of you who are new to my channel. I had done 2 streams on her last year when she first put her nose into this case on court cases that she had brought up and dropped. We had done where we had kind of given an overview of this one and where the bar sued her. However, I kind of dropped it after that. But when you accuse me of a crime and you're not ballsy enough to name me by name, but you name everything that I talked about in my stream, which means you watched it. Thank you for the view and the ad revenue. You fucked with the wrong bitch. You fucked with the wrong bitch. Just saying. We're going to let's see. It's this one right here. That's me. I'm her. You know. Please knock it off. Bring on the cats who's Blue Angels. I checked on that like 3 weeks ago. Nobody had been served in that case yet, so I have a feeling that case is going to be dropped. But this is a PACER case. It's a federal case where she is suing or was suing the Bar Association and the Supreme Court of Florida. Filed in the Middle District of Florida in 2023. This is her amended complaint because her original complaint we did Thursday, it was 26 pages. This is 38. So we are looking at the differences. And it's just like she's putting names. She's putting names and she's putting more details that are not relevant. Like, it's one thing to put more details in and more evidence in, but it's another thing to put details that are not even relevant. And remember, none of this is alleged. This is shit she's putting in her own filing. So this is verified according to her. All right. Like I said, I am not a lawyer, but this is hilarious. The Florida Bar has knowledge of an attorney misconduct through the investigation against the plaintiff. Did this brain warp think she was going to win? Against who? Against the Florida Bar or against me? Because, neither one of which seemed like a good idea. Oh. And you can ask my dad. I've always been petty. When people go low, I tend to just point and laugh. But if there's a loophole where I can just laugh it out and kind of go lower, petty is being childish in a way. But, like, it's funny and I'm entertained. I hope y'all are entertained too. Hubert Kyle Fletcher makes the following statements in court pleadings in open court in malpractice lawsuit. Look, this is how you can tell right here. She's adding details that aren't important. She's also her sentence structure is getting worse because it was kind of bad in the first one, but like it's bad in this one. Following statements in court pleadings in an open court in a malpractice lawsuit, Her has filed representing a former client of the plaintiff. He has filed, and that's the Pinellas County. Yep, that's the Pinellas County. We have this. And if you hear anything in the background, Mr. Squid and I think my dad are watching Top Gun Maverick. On September 3rd, 2021, the Supreme Court of Florida entered judgment against defendant Leslie Ann Federigo's Esquire, and they approved the uncontested referee's report and remanded defendant, directing her to attend the Florida Bar's advertising workshop. And defendant was also placed on probation for 1 year. On October 14th, and this was not in the last post, or the last filing. October 14th, 2022. And this right here is why you don't put shit in filings that don't belong there. Because now everybody knows your damn business. Defendant Leslie Federigo posted on Facebook how she was on her 6th week of building her internal self by curing her bipolar disorder naturally after being bedridden for months. I've worked with multiple people with bipolar. I have never worked with anybody who's been bedridden from bipolar. Bedridden due to other things and then had bipolar on top of it, yes. However, bipolar, last time I checked, never made anybody bedridden. I mean, I could be wrong. I'm capable of being wrong. However, y'all, and bipolar disorder naturally. I'm sorry. Like, I am all for like alternative and holistic health, but some things need actual medical intervention. Sorry, I've seen this movie like 150 times. I saw this movie first time when I was like 6 months pregnant. 7 months pregnant. Like, it's great. Saw it in the theater when I was pregnant. It's possible. I promise. October 22nd, 2022. Defendant Leslie Federigo's Esquire posted on Facebook how she had been bedridden for months. Bedridden with depression for months. I'm not laughing at the depression. I'm laughing at, like, why? Burnt out from manic posting for days. This is why I am laughing. I am laughing because she claims a week prior that she's on her 6th week of building her internal self by curing her bipolar disorder naturally, and then bedridden with depression for months, and was working the miserable job of being a lawyer. One, you chose to be a lawyer. Second, if your depression is keeping you bedridden, depression is a real thing, and it does take people's energy and does make people not want to get out of bed. However, that's when you need to go see a doctor. That's when you should not be going, hey, we're going to use natural, I'm curing it naturally. No, that's when you need medical intervention. And that's like, it's like people saying, yeah, I have this, but I don't take my medication. Hey, Shane, how are you? Yes, and then that's true. But I've also learned, kind of going off of what Devil Fan says here, if people cure, or not cure, because you can never really cure, but if people have their mental health under control and they're on medications or whatever treatment, part of my treatment is my doc or my nurse practitioner wants me to work out 30 minutes a day because it's good for the mental health. With that being said, when people purposely do not have their stuff under control and then hide behind it as an excuse, that's when my empathy runs out. I am a meds regular and wean away from internet, regular meals routine. And that this was back in 2023. So like this was I didn't know her back then. Nobody knew, at least in this case, nobody really knew who she was back then. However, this is where I have a problem with mental health. When people know they have an issue, choose not to get it treated, and then use it as an excuse for their bad behavior. We should not be stigmatizing it. Depression, bipolar, um, personality disorders, whatever the case may be. However, when you know you have it, you do not get it treated, and then you use it as an excuse for why you're a shitty human being and bad at your job. There's got to be some accountability there. You can't use mental health or physical health as an excuse for everything. And it's just, it frustrates the hell out of me. Can you cure a chemical imbalance in your brain with an implant? I have no idea. But I already have shit attached to my brain. I don't want anything else. Yes, mental illness is not an excuse to be a complete ass, especially if you are aware of your mental illness. If you have untreated, but you don't know that you have it, I give a little more leeway because you're not purposely like not getting treatment. But then why put this on the fucking internet? Or like, why put this shit on Facebook? Just because you have and you can post shit on Facebook doesn't mean you should. Just because you think a certain thoughts doesn't mean you need to say them. Just because something is up here doesn't mean it needs to come out of this. Just saying. Filter. Yeah, bipolar disorder rewiring of the neurosynapses show the holes and under overactive areas of the brain. You can't cure it naturally. That's a good point too. Yeah, not even getting into the physiology of it, but it's like yes, there are some things you can do naturally, like sunlight, vitamin D, increase your vitamin D. Not giving medical advice. These are just some documented things that are good for working out, getting that, they call it a runner's high for a reason. I've never ran enough to get a runner's high, but working out, endorphins, good for the brain and the mental health. However, just because those are some things that do not require medical intervention to help, they're not the only things that need to be done. Back in the 90s, a lady I know went for bipolar meds because someone just told her to take vitamin B. I did not. We saw the effects firsthand, and it took 2 weeks to get her meds right. Yeah, some things help. Yeah, some natural things help, just not cure it. Yes. Like, I know that if I don't get a workout in, I feel more fatigued and I feel more depressed. And then you don't want to work out because you're feeling depressed and you don't. But with that being said, exactly. I wonder if she's getting horrible advice. I don't know. Hearing transcripts on April 7th, 2022. Once again, from this Mr. Fletcher, once again, they would be, I don't know how to do this. Miss Federigos has the videos of herself talking about working at the Rachel's and, Your Honor, her life story that got me, that's not, here's the thing, if someone sends me a video, a text message that says, did you see what Miss what Leslie Law just posted? She posted something about working at Rachel's and being on drugs. And I don't appreciate, and attempting to self-delete. I mean, there is shit you should not put on the internet. She can't be Barbie since Barbie never had kids. Ken coming in a different box. Ken also has no, Ken also doesn't have the parts, neither does Barbie. Like, this Gerald Hemnes Esquire makes the following statements and pleadings in open court. The single allegation is disingenuous, as attorney Federico's has already broadcast the details of her confidential emergency on Facebook in a multitude of public posts and videos starting as early as the evening of January 9th, 2023, before the hearing at issue, and continuing for several days thereafter. According to her very public declaration, she is bipolar, had an ideation of self-deletion, and was being threatened with the Baker Act, and is being wrongfully prosecuted by the Florida bar. Not after, I'm, once again, not a lawyer, don't claim to be, don't want to try to be. However, there is some things in this, and I'm going through this, being perfectly honest, I'm going through this for my own petty revenge. However, with that being said, there might be some things in here that Randy might be able to use. And I just didn't think about it until I started reading this, because she's putting shit in, she's making this way too personal. You do not need to take this from a legal fight to what you posted on Facebook yesterday. I can't quite understand. Oh, she puts it on Facebook and then bitches when it's used against her. No one subpoenaed Facebook in this, in Jeremy's case, in anything. No one subpoenaed YouTube. She is doing this shit of her own free will and her own volition, which is kind of worse than if anybody were to subpoena it. So it's stay petty, but no one put out a subpoena for your Facebook page. You made these posts publicly. So the one thing that I did notice in going through this, in scanning the document, that she didn't change is anything related to the jurisdiction. She puts in all this Facebook stuff, but the one thing she didn't do is amend anything that the judge actually cares about, like jurisdiction or the actual facts. This is just more spewing BS. Like, I just, like, is this a lawsuit or a pitch for a Netflix video? Like, Lips, you should really pitch this to Netflix. You might actually get some interest, because this is some crazy shit. All right, Michael Lundy announces an open court in unrelated matter, violating bar rule 4-3.4 and 8.4. And if I'm remembering correctly, the Florida bar rules, chapter 4, because I looked this up, or I downloaded it when I was discussing Bruce and his bullshit. State bar ethics rules. Chapter 4 is rules of professional conduct, a lawyer's responsibility. I'm kind of familiar with the rules of professional conduct, because what I would do, and I did this with Gingras in the Laura Owens case, is I compared the bar rules to their actual actions to see, taking all emotion or anything out of it, and just comparing the transcripts of your video or the words you said in your video and or in court or a filing, and comparing it to the bar rules to see if you broke ethics rules. No emotion, just facts. However, I have not done this with lips because, well, it's too crazy. It's too crazy. And we are going to, when we get through this, we are going to wrap this up, and I'm going to get going because my dad is on the way back to my house. This is all stuff she had before. Karen Bankowitz was the one that she accused of having tried to have her Baker acted without contacting her therapist who spoke to her the same day. Well, see, and this is what I had the problem with. Miss Bankowitz was given consent by the plaintiff to contact her therapist. It's not that simple. You need a release of information and a HIPAA release form. However, Miss Bankowitz intentionally reported the plaintiff as self-deletion risk to a third party who was mandated to report. So, I understand that. However, there is no actual documentation that I've read yet to that literally says that. So although I believe it's 99% true, it's conjecture. So when she filed her defamation suit, I don't agree with her filing it, but I see the logic in the loophole that she was using to file it, because there was no actual documentation that said in plain English, this was going to be the result if you don't retire. Because of that, I see the loophole that she was using. I don't agree with it. However, I see the logic. And that's where people got mad at me, because they thought I was like agreeing with her. It's like, no, I get the logic. It's called a loophole. It's that legalese and that technical language of, well, technically, although that might be true, there is a difference between what we might think and what we think we know and what we can prove in court. And if she can prove in court that the documents didn't actually say that, she's got a point. Which is one of the reasons why when you're on the internet and you're talking, or you're just talking in general, you got to be careful about what you say. So, it's not that I agree with her or her thought process. I can just see the logic, and if you're that kind of person who always wants to get revenge on people, it's a petty thing. And you think, "Oh, I'm a lawyer so I can sue," or "I'm a former lawyer so I have the legal knowledge where I can sue." Mm. But what I saw from the disciplinary, actions, or at least the ones that I saw, literally said, because she's retiring, there's no reason to further pursue this, and they dropped it. And I read that on my stream in June of last year. Other than that, the bar doesn't really say a whole lot in their documentation. So, and we'll read it. We're going to go through all of that stuff. So, I see the logic. I didn't say it was good logic. I just didn't. Yeah. It's similar to police officer under investigation, quit and go to another department. Yeah, because technically they weren't. Technically they weren't fired. However, because there was nothing in the record from the bar on that particular occasion about what would have happened, there's nothing in the record. Remember, if it's not in the record, it doesn't matter. There's there's the difficult part about the law versus what we think should happen and what we think is going to happen and what we can actually prove. Because if there's nothing in the documents, and that's one of the reasons that we're going to go through all the documents, is because we're going to read them word for word and kind of get that. The bar basically dropped the case. I have it right here. I have a whole folder on Leslie. Lips versus family, lips versus the bar, lips versus the previously legal, bar versus lips. So this is, we're going to read this in its entirety and at a later date. However, this is what the bar filed a motion to dismiss. Comes now the complaint in Florida bar moves the above-cited case dismissed because respondent is permanently retired. On March 8th, 2023, respondent submitted a petition for permanent retirement. March 10th, the executive director of the Florida bar responded to the petitioner's permanent retirement, and respondent's approved petition has been forwarded to the records department. Resident will be listed as ineligible to practice law with the note permanent retirement. Respondent's approved petition for permanent retirement renders the current disciplinary cases moot and should be dismissed with no further action. Like I said, when she did that, what they were going to do is no longer I'm assuming if she takes the bar license, like the bar test, because well, yes, but here, like, it literally says, this is literally from the bar, their motion to dismiss. So it's one of those situations of whatever we think might have happened. Technically speaking, the bar never put it in writing on what was going to happen. So I hate to be that bitch, but guess what? I'm gonna tell it like it is, no matter what side the facts lead me to. And this is where it's like, we don't know, and talking about what quote unquote might have happened is not accurate because we don't actually know because the bar never put it in writing. Yes, it's a loophole, and I keep saying this, but people keep trying to argue with me. People keep trying to argue with me. It's like, there's the motion from the Florida bar. They dropped it, and they never said why. They never said what they were going to do in any motion that I've seen. No. Nope. It says respondent's approved petition for permanent retirement renders the current disciplinary cases moot and should be dismissed with no further action. Hey, Spawn. So that's literally what the bar said themselves on I don't remember what date this is submitted, but March 20th of 2023. So I mean, I hate to be that bitch, but like I said, I'm gonna call balls and strikes however they fall, not depending on whose side. And I don't like her, but yeah, they aren't really loopholes or technicalities. It's the law. But it's one of those situations of like, I saw the logic she was using. I didn't agree with it, and I thought it was kind of bullshit and petty, and even petty for me. However, I saw the logic because technically speaking, on a technicality, they never put in writing what they were going to do if she did not retire. And there was no, like, agreement, like, I can see if there was a settlement agreement of, "Hey, if you permanently retire, we will drop all charges." If there was a settlement agreement, I totally understand. That would not be a loophole or a technicality. However, that never happened in any document that I've seen. All that happened was she filed for permanent retirement, and therefore the bar dropped their case. There might have been behind the scenes talking, but no one ever put it on record. And what have we said on this channel thousands and thousands of times? If it's not on the record, just like a medical record, if you didn't put it in writing, it didn't happen. Yeah, it's similar to dropping the case without prejudice, pretty much. It's just a situation. So, court transcript from a hearing on September 9th. Complainant Michael Lundy, I want this court to be aware. I think I'm obligated to tell you this. Ms. Federigo's herself signed a conditional guilty plea for consent judgment for her own ethical violations. This is stuff that was not in the last one. Yeah, she should be nowhere near anyone's legal matters. Her shifty, underhand husband should be the same. And I have mixed opinions about him because one time I see him and I think maybe there's some like sense of like an ethical thing there. However, then I get sent screenshots of him being on camera with her, and when she's calling people felons, and he's like, "Yeah, that's right, that's right," and like encouraging this behavior, and I'm like, yeah. Huh, you know. Uh, so Uh, in February 2023, plaintiff became aware Karen Bankowitz's husband, Jason Bankowitz Esquire, is listed on court's registries with Hubert Kyle Fletcher as a local criminal defense attorneys. What does that have anything to do with it? Like, in February 2023, plaintiff becomes aware Karen Bankowitz's relative, Frank Bankowitz Esquire, is listed on the same court local registry as Hubert Kyle Fletcher. I mean, plaintiff became aware that David Pinnell, owning a private local investigation company, Scotland Yard's investigations will remain active on funbiz.org, servicing local attorneys in the same country. Same country. You mean same county, sweetheart. Same county. I mean, I would hope they're in the same country. I mean, this is a pretty damn big country. I'm just going to say it. Where he investigates attorney discipline. I mean, there are some things that like lead to like just a little, notice of shit's kind of shady, but at the same time, y- you're not squeaky clean yourself there, princess. Florida bar allowing discrimination against attorney during their investigation when the attorney is a protected life group under the ADA. So here again, she hides under like, and do you know you notice where she's getting more agitated because every other title was centered. Like if her other titles were all centered for the formatting is getting crazy as well and different. And it's like this is what she adds, and she does not make everything the same, and it just looks disjointed, making it disjointed to read. Florida bar has taken no measures to stop various attorneys from filing discriminatory comments about the plaintiff in public pleadings and hearings, which has caused plaintiff to be humiliated in open court in public dockets. Sorry, you put your freaking Facebook page in a public docket. That's on you. And the fact that you make your Facebook public to begin with is another you problem. There's privacy settings for a reason, princess. She mentions the hashtag again. See this one? Like she added that. She added that above because look at the center formatting on this one. This one up here. is not. It's left formatted. It's like, girl, if you're gonna do it right. Oh, she brings up the McKay report again. Oh my goodness, the McKay report. Oh, she re- mm. Just because you say something more than once and you keep repeating it does not make it accurate. Like, it does not make it right. She brings up that, these appearances are created regardless of the actual fairness and impartiality. No one cares about the case law. Like, oh, she keeps mentioning it again. It's like, girl, you make this 38 pages. Like, y'all, crazy girl. Crazy, crazy girl. Crazy. Like, yeah, she mentions it in her original complaint. I didn't read it in this one because we're only trying to hit up the parts that she added in this stream. We did read the amended complaint in its entirety Thursday. If you can stand to lose a couple brain cells, I suggest you go back and watch that one. Count 3, Americans with Disabilities Act. The more you say it, just because you keep repeating yourself doesn't make you more authoritative. It just makes you more annoying. Like, she keeps bringing up the furthermore, plaintiffs should not have to endure discriminatory statements about the plaintiff's mental health that were grammar published and tagged the Florida bar and staff investigators when the Florida bar and staff investigator had full knowledge and could have taken measures to stop it. Oh, yeah. Florida Civil Rights Act. She keeps bringing up this disability. So, y'all. All right, guys. So, my dad is home and it's dinner time. It is 6 p.m. I'm gonna see if there's anybody I can send y'all to. Um, because, whoop, later. Why is my studio acting funky? I'm gonna see if there's anybody I can send you guys to because I like to share the love. Oh, let's see. We might. And thank you for the 151 people who hit the like button. I appreciate you so very much. Y'all have no idea how much I appreciate you guys. Nick Starro, Uvalde's school shooting timeline animation. That is a very difficult case, so protect y'all's mental health. If you are unable to tolerate that, just give him a like anyway and give his work some, My dad says hi. So, I have to get going, but go tell Nick that I said hi and that I promise I did not fry too many of your brain cells today, but we are going to do this again next week. We have some actual stories to catch up on next week. However, we are oh yeah, Landman is a great show. We watch it every Sunday, I think. Anyway, we'll I will be streaming tomorrow Sunday. I'll be streaming tomorrow at 7 p.m. on my other channel. Monday, Devil Fan, check your email. I sent you an email last night asking a question because we're having some technical difficulties with Google Calendar and an invite. So you might have to check your calendar. We might have to cancel it and retry. So, but go tell Nick I said hi and that I sent you. And even if you are not into the Uvalde case and it is a little too emotional for you, please hit the like button. And him and Mo are working hard on this one. They are working hard. Today is Sunday. You're behind the times. Well, you live in the future. So, Y'all have a great day. Bye, guys.